They arrested her for impersonating a seal until the Admiral said, "That tattoo's authentic." It started as an ordinary day at the naval base, until a young woman in plain clothes walked into a restricted area and set off a chain reaction of suspicion, disbelief, and controversy. Within minutes she was surrounded by armed guards, accused of impersonating a Navy SEAL, a crime punishable by federal law. But then an admiral walked in, took one look at her tattoo, and changed everything. This is the story of how a secret operation, a lifelong sacrifice, and a single mark of authenticity turned an arrest into a revelation. On a brisk Monday morning, Naval Station, Coronado in California, home to the elite Navy SEAL training program, buzzed with activity. Cadets were running drills, instructors barked orders, and security patrolled the perimeter like clockwork. Suddenly, a civilian woman, mid-30s, confident but quiet, strode through a side gate wearing a faded tactical backpack and a simple T-shirt. She flashed what looked like a military ID at the guard, but something about it seemed off. Within moments, she was flagged, stopped, and surrounded by 2 MP. "Ma'am, please step aside," one officer said. The woman complied, her expression unreadable to the guards. She looked like someone playing soldier. To her, this was home turf. The base's security office was small, stark, and tense. The woman her name withheld at first sat at a metal table, while 2 investigators examined her credentials. The ID was genuine, but outdated. Her uniform was civilian, but her posture screamed military discipline. "Why are you here?" "Who are you?" an officer demanded. She replied softly, "I'm here for the briefing, Operation Nightfall." The room went silent. Operation Nightfall was a classified code name known only to high-ranking personnel. How did she know it? Still, the MP handcuffed her. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for unauthorized entry and impersonating a member of Naval Special Warfare," one officer recited. She didn't resist. She simply said, "Call Admiral Keaton." At first glance, she looked like a civilian intruder, but her story began 15 years earlier in a world the public never saw. Back then, the Navy launched a highly secretive pilot program, testing whether women could integrate into certain SEAL operations overseas under deep cover. The program was unofficial, deniable, and dangerous. She, then known only by her call sign Echo, had been one of its first recruits. She passed every grueling test, every covert infiltration, every underwater demolition drill. But because the program was classified, she could never publicly acknowledge her role. Her record was sealed. By the time the program was quietly shut down, Echo had risked her life on missions no one would ever hear about. She left with no medals, no recognition, and a promise to stay silent. Even her closest friends believed she'd just worked abroad. Now, years later, she had been summoned for one final briefing, or so she thought. Instead, she was being treated like a criminal. Back at the security office, tension mounted. The MP didn't know whether to book her or call Washington. Then a black SUV pulled up outside. Out stepped Admiral Thomas Keaton, a man whose career spanned decades of naval special warfare. He entered the room, eyes scanning the woman in cuffs. Without a word, he motioned for the MP to stand aside. "Show me your left shoulder," he said to her. She rolled up her sleeve, revealing a faded, intricate tattoo, a trident entwined with a dagger and a string of coded numbers. Not a standard SEAL trident, but a version known only to members of the covert pilot program. Keaton's face softened. "That tattoo's authentic," he said quietly. "Release her." The MP hesitated. "Sir, she's under arrest for release her," Keaton repeated. "She's one of ours." Once freed, the woman rubbed her wrists but said nothing. Keaton dismissed the MP and closed the door. "I told you not to come here like this," he said. She replied, "You told me to come if everything went sideways. Well, it has." For the first time, viewers glimpsed the stakes. A stolen hard drive containing identities of covert operatives had gone missing. She had been tracking it for months, and now it was on base. Keaton sighed. "We can't do this officially, not after the program was buried." She stared him down. "Then we do it unofficially, like always." That evening, inside a warehouse near the docks, she geared up no rank insignia, no name patch, just the tools of her old trade. She moved with fluid precision, slipping into shadows, bypassing alarms, retrieving the stolen drive before it could leave the base. It was like watching a ghost from the past. Every move confirmed what the MP couldn't see earlier. She wasn't pretending. She was the real deal, a silent professional from a program the Navy would never admit existed. By dawn, the threat was neutralized. The hard drive was safe. She handed it to Keaton without ceremony. "No medals, no record," she said. "Just like old times," he nodded. "You're still one of the best we ever had." But for her, it wasn't about praise. It was about protecting the brotherhood, even if the brotherhood never publicly claimed her. The next morning, the MP who had arrested her watched as she quietly walked off base. No uniform, no escort. To them, she was still a mystery. To Keaton, she was a hero. Her record would remain sealed. The public would never know. But somewhere in the Pentagon, a single line would be added to a classified file: Echo completed final retrieval, asset retired. She returned to her civilian life, carrying scars no one could see, and a tattoo only one admiral had recognized. It's a reminder that sometimes the most authentic service is invisible, and the people who give everything may never be acknowledged. We live in a world obsessed with appearances, medals, uniforms, titles, but authenticity isn't always visible. Sometimes the people we doubt are the very ones who have sacrificed the most. This woman didn't need applause. She didn't need a headline. She needed someone to believe her, and Admiral who remembered a promise. Her story asks us, how many unseen heroes walk among us every day, unrecognized, carrying the weight of their service in silence, and it challenges us. The next time we're quick to judge, maybe we should look closer, because sometimes the tattoo is authentic, even if the paperwork isn't. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more true life and dramatic tales from the shadows of history.